I knew what that consists of the book being a non-stop, drop-dead action killing book. And when I started the beginning of 26 Degrees, I did not have the characters in my head, the name of them. And then they just came. Once I started the book, the names of the characters just started flowing through my head. And don't know where they came from, but they just started coming in dramatically. And the beginning of the book, I knew what I wanted, something explosion. I knew, I did not know how it was going to play out. I did not know how many bad guys that I wanted in my action book, but I had already had 2 of them. And then when I wanted something for, say, foreigners in a foreign country, I thought about Russia, Russian mafias and stuff like that, and that's how they started coming in. So then when it started getting to a point of me having characters from a different country, then I had to look online to figure out some Russian names, because Russian names is not, common here in the US. So I had to gradually go online and look at the Russian names and pick the Russian names that I wanted in 26 Degrees. Not only that, I wanted the unique spelling, because their name is with that unique spelling that they had. And I know that I wanted one of them named after me, which is the guy Victor. But I knew that Victor was spelled Victor. I knew that I wanted the Russian name because it was a Russian mafia. So that was one. And then I said, well, you know what? He has to have a son, because Victor is up in age where he has a son that basically is trying to take over. So, that's how I started creating the names of the foreigners, foreign names. And I knew that I wanted them to travel. I want them to travel in different countries. But at first, it was not in the U.S. It was something further than the U.S., which is Syria. And Victor and his son name didn't come up. Dmitry didn't come up right then. I had their mercenaries go into Syria to try to get what they needed, which was the missiles, the weapons, and bring it back to Russia. But they didn't know who it was. So then later on, I decided to say, well, you know what? We're not just going to name them mercenaries. We're going to name these people by names, and they're Russian. So we're going to take these weapons from Syria and drag them to Russia, but then we want to have someone in the U.S. to buy these weapons from the Russians, which stole them from the U.S. because the U.S. has a government base in Syria. So that's how I plotted the action part. And some authors say you don't want to have the explosion happened at the beginning of your novel, in which I did. There was some killing at the beginning of the first part of 26 Degrees, the first chapter. The mercenaries bombarded the U.S. government and stole those weapons, which Dmitry Petrov had sent these mercenaries to Syria to steal these weapons from the U.S., which it progressed, and he wanted to sell them, but first he sold them to the Mexican mobs, and then he stole them back from them, and then resold them to the Left Hand Blade. So that first book it was just a lot of boom, 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 a lot of explosion. Each chapter was with something. Just wanted you to turn the pages. I wanted you to keep turning your pages, which is first book of 26 Degrees. That's what it's about. It's about the beginning, which was explosion, which made me actually kept writing and wanted more. You know, so I want to give you guys that so that you will continue turning the pages. And then I had to learn the moves, the action moves, the action pack that I want to give you guys. I want to keep you intrigued. I want to keep you guys turning the pages on the first book of 26 Degrees. So I think that the beginning of your novel matters. Hell, you can come up with a name Glad or Glade, but as long as your book is filled with what you promise your viewers, then the names of these characters are not going to matter to your readers, because you're giving them what you put out there as far as your book being action. And that's what I did. Did it take me a long time to figure out the names? No, not the American names, but the foreign names. It did, and because I wanted something unique, I didn't want anything American name for a Russian mob. I wanted a Russian mob with a Russian name, and that's what I did. But I feel as though I kept you guys intrigued, just like Jason Bourne, or like National Treasure. I think that what's his name? Nicolas Cage played an awesome treasure hunter. You know, it kept me intrigued because I like things with history and figuring out puzzles and stuff like that. So that kept me in tune and gradually wanting to know more about it. Even Goonies did it. You know, I'm going way back. You know, which is movies. You know, I don't normally read a lot, but I look at a lot of action movies, and I know that my book is based on somewhat Bourne Identity, but not so much Bourne Identity. I think that I based it on Bourne Identity, comparing to the traveling, not in just the U.S., but outside the U.S. and also in the U.S. I think Jason Bourne, the first one, was more outside the U.S. than it was inside the U.S., and then it gradually came with them both outside and inside the U.S. But the first book that I did of 26 Degrees is basically both. It was outside, and then they worked their way on the inside when the Americans brought the weapons from the Russian mafia. And I think that I wanted to keep you guys guessing, and I gradually put in more characters to try to make it more intrigued, especially have a little bit more romance in it. The first plot wasn't a lot of romance in it, but it was leading up into a romantic couple, and that led into 26 Degrees Part 2, Hell to Pay. So I think that I have a little bit more romance in Part 2 than I had in Part 1, and I'm guessing that I'm not guessing. I know that in Part 2 I still have my book ending on the case not closing, but it's closed, if you get what I mean. Well, we'll see how it paying out. But I know, and I'm hoping that I will have enough energy to do 26 Degrees 3. But it depends on you guys. It depends on if, you know, you're intrigued about wanting more on Part 3 to see how it worked out between Casey and Michelle. You know, who knows? I really want to do a Part 3, but only if you guys want more of it. And maybe then again, I might decide to do it and just say no to hell with it. I'm going to do a Part 3 on 26 Degrees. I want to see how Michelle and Casey turn out myself. You know, so it's all about how you're nailing the beginning of your novel, is in which end it will make your readers more intrigued and want more. So I think that when you first start your novel, the beginning of your novel, you should nail it with whatever genre you pick. If it's a love and romance, I think you should drag it out a little bit. I hate it when I watch a movie and the romance is so quick. I like it drawn out a little bit when it comes to romance. But with an action, I need to want more, because with romance, you already get that inkling that someone likes someone. He likes her, but he's not telling her that he likes her. Or she likes him, but she's not telling him that she likes him. And I think same thing with me when it comes to action. Give me a little bit of action at first, because if you start the book off or the movie off kind of boring, I'm not gonna want to watch it. I'm not going to read it, because I know that, oh God, if they dragging it out, I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep reading something boring that leads up to action, and it goes back into normal, you know. And then I don't like that. I like a little bit of action so I can like be enthused or intrigued about, damn, what's gonna happen next, you know, any more action. But yet here it is, you having a little bit of a romance, or a little bit of middle action, or a little bit of kidnapping, but you have action in the kidnapping, or you know, and which in Twisted Degrees 1, it was just a lot of action. I think that each chapter came in with you like, damn, what happened next? Did he drag her by her hair? Oh my gosh, I want more. So I think that if you come out with the genre of action, I think that your book should be, just like you say, action. If it comes out with a romance novel, I think that everyone's different. With me, when it comes to romance, like I said before, I like my romance drawn out a little bit to get that chemistry with the characters, because I want chemistry. I want chemistry when it comes to romance. But with action, I want action pack. I want action pack with a little bit of ground, which is, you know, everything's leveled, and then it's back to, you know, beating asses and fighting up people and beating up people and banging up people, which is where I like, because I grew up on stuff like that, and with my father, and watching movies with him with action pack and stuff like that, and it never left. So nailing your novel is all about the genre that you pick. Read, watch movies, and you can pretty much read an action, watch an action, and see if it compels the same, because they all say that, people say that Bourne Identity book is totally different from the movie. And some people said a lot about the other, you know, movies versus the books, you know, and that the book is, some people said the book is better than the movie, some people said the movie is better than the book. Who knows? Everyone's different, but it all depends on you and what you deliver in your book. Deliver what you say that you're promising your readers and your viewers, because it all depends on that. Because if you're not giving them what you actually put out there about your book, then they're not gonna continue reading your book. So guys, I'm gonna end this video on nailing your beginning of your novel, and to saying I praise you guys for continue following me. I love you guys up to the most, and God bless this video, man. Take care.